What is up, guitar legends? Sam Wild here. We have a super fun lesson today. This is one of the funnest Disney songs to play along to for me. You are going to need the cap on fret 3 for this to work, especially because there's a key change, and this capo means you can play both keys quite easily. All right. So let's start with the intro, and we'll just move our way through the song. Now in the play along, I've kept it simple. We can just do chords for the intro. But for those of you that are very good at riffs and are a little more advanced, you can play the riff instead if you want to. Okay, here's the tab. Let me just go through that quickly. Skip ahead if you just want to do the chord version. Right, so just get your major bar chord ready, and you can do alternate picking or all downwards. Okay, that's all it is. You can have the palm against the strings if you want. You don't have to though. Some might want to do alternate picking. So down, up, down, up. But the rest is just down picks. Okay, so that's the first half, is kind of in this bar chord position. It's quite fast, so you just start slower. If you want to keep cutting off the notes like that, look what my hand does. It comes in after each note to cut it off. It makes it nice and short. Right. The second half is in the same place, but we're going to have to do an arpeggio, which is harder. I tend to alternate pick for this part. The pinky has to do a roll, so if you've never done arpeggios before, you might find that weird, but you just kind of bring the pinky down to get that. Okay, and we just do that twice. So this is really tricky. If you're not used to arpeggios, it might seem very strange. And you can just play the chords, which I will show you now. All right, on to the chord version for the intro riff. We're gonna play like this. So it still kind of sounds like the riff. Okay, it's not as good as playing the actual melody, but it sounds bigger if it's just you and a guitar, especially then you want to play chords like this. All right, so first have a look at the shapes. We have G major. Now for this riff, it's better if you take the third finger off, because we have that B note within the melody, right? The other chord we go to for a split second is D, and I tend to have the thumb here, F sharp in the bass as well. Okay, so let's do this slowly. We're going to play down, up, and then we have to cut off the strings with the right hand. So you just bring the hand in, like that. Now I try and come up on the B string. It's quite difficult when you're moving so fast, but that's where the melody is, so if you can, that's great. Okay, and then we're going to come up again from the B string. And both times, the hand comes into the strings. Okay, then we're gonna have another up, but you're gonna be moving as you do this up to get to the D chord, like so. Then we come down on the D major chord. So you see I'm going up, down, into the chord. So I'm changing on the up, and then I'm ready for the downbeat there. Okay, so just practice this slowly. Alright. And then the last part is quite simple because we just played D, D, G, G. One down strum each time there. Down, 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 down. Okay, so the first half is tricky, but the second half, not so much. You hear that? And we do it twice. But the second time, I try and come up on the G string, because that's where the melody is again. So first time we came up on the B string, as best as we can. Second time, come up on the G string. Okay, that's quite tricky. You don't have to do that, all right? But it just kind of brings the melody out of the chords a little bit more. right? So don't worry too much about getting this perfect hand in cut off, right? It's subtle. It's just trying to bring the hand in. It just makes it more snappy if you bring the hand in on those up beats. That's why I put the little dot there to show where you need to bring the hand in. Okay, and that is our main riff, and we played this a few times in the song. Okay, so it's worth figuring this out, learning it, practicing it. So once we've played this riff twice, we go into the verse. Now the verse is actually very similar to the riff, right? We have the seaweed is always cleaner than somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. And then into pre-chorus. So it is kind of the same. If you look at the rhythm, all I've done is kind of filled the gaps a little bit more. So instead of having the snappiness of the, right, we don't have to do that anymore because we're just accompanying the vocal now, right? So we can just make it more flowy. So now it's more of a down, up, slap, up, down, up. And this is the rhythm we're going to use for the whole song. This little part here, right? Down, up, slap, up, down, up, slap, up, down, up. So we can apply this rhythm to the rest of the song. However, for this verse, because we have this fast change from D to G, we have to break up the rhythm slightly. So you can see for the second half, I've got down, down, up, right? And you kind of have to change chord whilst you're doing that as well. I tend to change on the up. You can see the fingers move on the up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. I even do a slap on that first G down. So this whole line so far now we have the seaweed is always greener than somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Right, so you can hear I've got this slap in there just to keep that beat. The slap really kind of grounds you to the beat of the song, right? Don't worry too much about getting the rhythm perfect. It doesn't matter if you miss a strum or you accidentally throw one in, because it's such an ongoing rhythm in this song. You can just basically keep strumming, right? As long as you're getting the chord changes on the right beats, and as long as you're getting those slaps in on beats 2 and 4, then it's going to work nicely, all right? So we do this rhythm 4 times for the verse, and then we get to the pre-chorus and things get easier. For the rest of the song, we can just keep that simple rhythm, the down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Right. We can apply that to every chord now, which makes things much easier for us. Okay, so we have, just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Just wonderful things surround you. What more are you looking for? Under the sea. Into the chorus. Okay, so we had C for a full rhythm, G for a full rhythm, D, and then back to G again, all right? And then we do it again, but we're gonna add on an extra bar for the G chord, right? So you can kind of build up on that G chord. Okay, and then we do one more loud strum and then cut it off just for the impact right before the chorus. So, wonderful things around you, what more are you looking for? Under the... Now you'll notice that I kind of take out the slap for this G chord just because I like to build it up. Under the sea. Right, so I take out that slap on the last G. You don't have to do that, I just think it works better. Alright, on to the chorus. We are gonna have the same rhythm again. Alright, we're gonna start with C, under the sea, under the sea. So we had a similar thing there, C, G, T, G, right? Then we do C to D to G. And then there's a G7. You can play it like that, or you can just move the second finger down. Third fret on the D string gets that 7th note, which is what I do for this song. And then it's more subtle. Okay, whereas I think this chord, it just sounds a bit too in your face, whereas in the song, that 7th sound is subtle. Okay, so make it lower down, it's less obvious, it's in the middle of the chord. And again, you don't have to play G7, you can just stay on G, because it functions the same way. Then we go into the second half of the chorus, we have C again, D, E minor, A7, which is a really nice little chord progression there. Okay, so C, D, if I were you, I'd play E minor with fingers 1 and 2, because then you only have to add the third finger for A7. And then when you change to C, you can leave the middle finger there. Right, so you get a really nice, smooth chord transition, right? Because the middle finger stays there for all 3 chords. You see that? After A7, we have C again, D again, and that takes us into the riff. For those of you that want to take your playing to the next level, make sure you sign up to my premium membership website. You'll gain access to all my backing tracks, all of my lessons, and I'll teach you how to improvise, solo, and play advanced chords. Enjoy the rest of your lesson, guys. Alright, you're doing really well, guys. Stick with me because you've learned most of the song now. If you look at the structure, you can see we've learned the intro riff, then we did verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, right? Then we have the intro riff again, and we do another verse, another pre-chorus, and another chorus, right? It's exactly the same thing. Okay, so the next thing to watch out for, once we finish this second chorus, okay, instead of playing the riff at the end, okay, we're not going to do that. We actually go straight into another chorus, which seems a little strange because there's only sort of a half a bar on the C and the D chord. And then we go back into C, under the sea, under the sea, take it from, and then we are going to go into the riff, but we just do half of it. So we just play the that's all it is. Okay, which is a little, it kind of tricks your brain. Your brain wants it to continue, but it doesn't. All right, it just goes. And then we have the breakdown. Right, this is the part where we have the bass, the bass, the bop, do the bop, the beat, do the beat, but bop, boo, the bop. It's like a breakdown part. So for this, we are going to play a slightly different rhythm. The other rhythm doesn't really fit. It's just too much going on rhythmically. Now this bridge rhythm is quite tricky, all right, because now we're having this kind of 16th note syncopated thing going on. It is quite tricky if you're not used to this sort of thing. If you want to keep it simple, just play down, 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 bum, 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 bum. Alright, just do the first 3, which makes it much easier. It's only the last 2 that are going to throw your brain off a little bit. Alright, and we're going to play D, D with F sharp, G. Okay, so you can see I start strumming lower down, then I go to the bassier notes to get that bass note. So we have bum, 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 bum. Third time we have C to G, then, and we're going to do this whole chord progression twice, all right, for the breakdown. Now, for those of you that want to do the advanced rhythm, we're doing more of a down, down, up, up, down, 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 up, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, bum, bum, dum, dum, bum, 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 bum. All right, so that's the more advanced version. Again, you don't have to do that. You can just play bum, 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 add a tap if you want. Dun, 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 and tap. Dun, 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 and tap. Bum, bum, bum. That is fine. You can do that as a simplified version. Now once we get to the very end of this breakdown, I like to just add in some extra strums and just build it up again. So the second time around, just on the very last one, I'm gonna go. I just play louder and I just fill in some of the gaps. That's all I do. And that takes us into the instrumental, where there's no singing, but it is just another chorus, right? So again, you already know what we're doing here. It's just dun 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 dun. It's just a chorus, right? So after the instrumental, we are going to have our key change, which sounds really epic. So we're going to go from the key of G into the key of A. All right, so we're going up 2 notes, we're going up a tone, which often happens in key changes. Now to get there, okay, so after the instrumental, after the chorus, we are going to play the riff once in G, like so. Then we go to A. Okay, then we continue in the key of A. For the riff in A, we're going to have A major chord. Then we'll go to E major chord. You can add the pinky there, 3rd fret on the B string, if you want to get that note in, like so. You can kind of hear it's within the chords, isn't it? So we do E major once without the pinky, then once with the pinky, and then we do A twice again. So it's the same strumming as in the key of G, we just have A and E instead of G and D, right? Now the only thing is, we are going to have this this build up as well. To make this work, you're going to have to kind of bring the first finger over for A instead of your usual shapes that you have. It's just the first finger. And you start with the A string, then you add the 3rd finger, 4th fret from capo, on the A string. You can take it off after that. And you make sure you get D string, then G string, both fret 2. Then I like to add 2 more full strums on the A chord. So this is a little confusing. Again, the first half is just the riff. So the whole key change is going to go like this. We start with G, then to A, and then we continue in the key of A. Okay. Now to play in the key of A, we obviously have to play different chords. So for the chorus, we're going to have D to A to E major to A. Then we have D, E to A, A7. Now for A7, you're just going to take that middle note, that middle finger off. Even if you have these fingers, middle fingers off, these fingers, 3rd fingers off. Okay, you just turn it into a 7th chord by taking the middle finger off there for A to A7. Second half of the chorus, we're going to have D, E, F sharp minor to B7. Now some of you might struggle to play the bar chord versions, F sharp minor here and B7 here. What you can do is play less notes and do it this way. So instead of having this bar, you can just play the middle 4 strings, A to B string, right? B7, you can do this open shape if you don't want to do a bar chord. I personally think this sounds a little strange for this song, which is why I like doing this version. Don't worry if it's not perfect. You play this for like half a second, so don't worry if it's not perfect and you're getting a few broken notes like that. that's fine. All right, it's just as long as you're getting most of the notes out, then it should work. Next we play D to E, then we go into the riff. So we have a whole chorus in A, right? But we need to finish the song now, and the way they do that is really cool. They have this, the ending part happens a few times. All right, so it starts with, each little clam here know how to jam here under the sea. Bum, dum, da, dum, dum. Each little slug here got in a rock here under the sea. So we keep going into the riff. Right, we have D, E, then the riff, then D again, E again, riff. Okay, then we do the full turnaround. And the riff again. Very finish, we do the riff, but we are going to do the full riff, and then if you want to, you can play this shape for the final A chord, like so. Because that's how the song ends. They just add one more high note on the end. And to do that, you play your A major like this, and then add the pinky for one final extra strum. Alright, that is everything, guys. Now hopefully most of you know the song fairly well from watching the film, and even though there's a lot to learn, you're kind of picking it up quickly. Alright, the play along is coming up. The best thing you can do is just play along with me. You can slow down the video if you just want to do this slowly and get used to the whole mechanics of it first. You can just do that, but at 75% speed, that will make things easier, although it will sound a little bit strange, a little robotic. All right, and then when you're ready, you just put it up to full speed. If you found this lesson helpful in any way, guys, please give it a like and make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell icon too. All right, good luck with the play along. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.